Hi there, Algebra 2, Chapter 4, Lesson 9, Quadratic Systems, the last one of this chapter. Objectives: to solve and graph systems of linear quadratic equations, to solve and graph systems of quadratic inequalities. Okay. Let's get this bigger. Okay. So, you have solutions. A system of one quadratic equation and one linear equation can be two solutions, one solution, or no solution. Here would be an example of two solutions. It's where a line is going to go through a parabola in two spots. Now, over here would be one solution. This only touches in one spot on the parabola with this line. Here would be no solution. There's nowhere on the parabola that this line goes through. Okay? So that's kind of what we're looking for today. Alright. Solving a linear quadratic system by graphing. In this situation, I am going to allow us to use Desmos. The reason for it is I believe you guys can graph. We've done it a lot this chapter, we've done it a lot before this, but I think this is a point where accuracy is going to be more important than anything. So I have y equals negative x to the second plus 5x plus 6. And we have y equals x plus 6. This is A, and this will be B. Which is y equals x to the second plus 6x plus 9 over yx plus 3. Okay, like I said, I am doing this on accuracy. Typically, we are not always the most accurate. Okay, so escape. So we have y equals negative x squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay, we're up there. Now we also have this line, which is y equals x plus 6. My two solutions in this case are right here and here. Easy as that. I have my two solutions. Now, typically you could check your solutions. So if I plug in 0, and if I was going to check my solutions, I would go into this equation. So if x is 0, 0 plus 6 should equal 6. Well, that's true. We put in 4 for x here. We get 4 plus 6, which should be 10. Y is 10. That would work. Now, being that we're using this Desmos on our graphing today, I do not think we should really have to check our answers. Because if it doesn't cross on here, it probably is not going to. Unless you plugged in something wrong. Okay, we are going to cross here and here. Are going to be our 2 points. Once again, you could check this by subbing it. I would probably choose the last one. You put in negative 3 for x, you get negative 3 plus 3, which should be 0, which is what y equals. You can put in negative 2 for x, negative 2 plus 3, which would leave you with 1. And that's what y does equal on our graph too. So, both of those work. Now, graphing is not the only way to figure this out. There's this nice thing called substitution. Okay? When we do substitution, there's a couple different ways that you can do this. So, this equals y. This equals y. I am going to sub this in for y. So I'm going to get x plus 3 equals negative x to the second minus x plus 6. I'm going to minus 3 over, minus 3 over, minus x, minus x. I get negative x to the second minus 2x plus 3. This equals 0. At this point, you could factor. You could use the quadratic equation. Those are probably your best two chances here. Because we already did graphing, so if we're going to graph, we just will have started by graphing right there. So, we can use the quadratic formula. So we have negative b, well, this is negative 2, so that's going to become a positive 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 2 squared minus 4 times negative 1 plus 3 all over 2a, which is going to be negative 2. Alright, we go in here, we're going to get 2 plus or minus the square root of 16 plus 12 over negative 2. Okay? Because we have, this will get us, this should be 4. My bad, caught my mistake. This would be 4, this would be negative 1 times negative 4, which is 4 times 3, which would give me 12. So now we get 2 plus or minus the square root of 16 over negative 2. We have 2 plus or minus 4 over negative 2. That's going to give me 6 over negative 2 if I add them, which would get me negative 3. If I subtract them, I'm going to get negative 2 over negative 2, which equals 1. Okay. Now, both of these are what x equals. So, we have one of them which is going to give me 1, and the other one's going to give me negative 3. We need an ordered pair because of the fact it's just like graphing it. We got two spots this is going to cross. Okay, we put 1 in here, 1 plus 3 gets me 4. There's one equation, or one ordered pair that it'll cross at. We plug in negative 3 here, we're going to get 0. There's my other ordered pair for this. Okay? Now, we're over here. We can do the exact same thing. We can sub this in for y, so we're going to get x plus 5 equals negative x to the second minus 3x plus 10 minus x, and minus 5, we get x to the second minus 4x plus 5. And that should be a negative. Alright, equals 0. Okay, at this point we're going to get 4 plus or minus negative 4 squared minus 4 times negative 1 times 5. We're going to end up getting 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 plus 20 over, okay, going back to that, I'm going to have a negative 2. Okay, so I'm going to get 4 plus or minus the square root of 36 over negative 2. When I do this, I'm going to get 4 plus or minus 6 over negative 2. But if I add them, I'm going to get 10 over negative 2, which would give me negative 5. If I subtract them, I'm going to get negative 2 over negative 2, which equals 1. So I have 1 and negative 5 is my x values. Plug that into this. We are going to get this one to be 0. We plug in 1 here. 1 plus 5 is going to give me 6. There is my 2 points that will work. Okay. we're going to do the same thing, only this time we're going to have a quadratic system in both of them. Okay? Okay, so we can sub this in for y. We have negative x to the second plus 5 equals x to the second minus 4x plus 5. Add x to the second to both sides. Subtract 5, subtract 5. I am going to get 0 equals 2x to the second minus 4x. Okay, that going into my quadratic equation, I'm going to get, once again, positive 4 because of the fact this is a minus and a minus. Square root, negative 4 squared, minus 4 times 2 times 0 over 2 times 2. So we're going to get 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 minus 0. Okay, so then we're going to end up with 4 plus or minus 4 over 4. So we can get 8, which would get us 2. Or when we subtract, we're going to get 0 over 4, which is 0. So our order pairs here are 2 and 0 for our x values in both of them. Okay, now I sub this in. I put 0 in here. 0 squared is going to get me 0 plus 5 is 5. That was it. Put 2 in there, you're going to get 2 squared with the negative, so you're going to end up with negative 4 plus 5, which would then give me 1. And there's my ordered pair for that one. Now, the last one. We are going to do the exact same thing. We're going to get negative x to the second minus 5 equals x to the second minus 4x plus 5. We are going to add x to the second, add x to the second. We are going to get negative 5 equals 2x to the second minus 4x plus 5. Plus 5 plus 5. We're going to get 2x to the second minus 4x plus 10 equals 0. Okay, once again, you're going to use your quadratic formula. At least I don't believe factoring would actually even work on this one. So, I am going to have 4 plus or minus the square root of negative 4 squared minus 4 times 2 times 10 all over 4. Okay, so we get 4 plus or minus the square root of 16. That's going to give me 8 minus 80 over 4, which then was going to give me 4 plus or minus the square root of 64. Negative 64 over 4. Okay, 64 is 8 times 8. The square root of the negative is I, so I'm going to get 4 plus or minus 8i over 4. Now I'm going to break this apart, and I'm going to divide this by 4 and divide this by 4, and I get 1 plus or minus 2i. There is my answer for that one. A little bit different. Always good to see a little bit different, because if it shows up on your homework, at least now you know how to do it. Okay, now, once again, these are graphic ones, because that's the only way you can really solve an inequality. I will once again allow you to type these into Desmos for your answers. Now, obviously, you have to sketch these properly. So you have y is less than negative x to the second minus 9x minus 2. and you have y is greater than x to the second minus 2. And then down here we have y is less than or equal to negative x to the second minus 4x plus 3. And I have y is less than x to the second plus 3. Okay, when I do this, it is going to be like any other inequality. Okay, and then we have y as greater than x. So this area right here where it's shaded in both is the solutions you are looking for. So right in here. Like I said, you're still going to have to be able to put this on your graph, but now at least you can see it. So basically all you're going to do is copy that. Now, your lines are still going to be important. Now on this one, obviously the bottom one, the purple one, is a solid line, dashed line. In between here is what you're looking for answers. Okay, and that's all I wrote. There is your homework.